Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's your life and wellness coach, Charles Johnson from Beyond Wellness Podcast. Tonight, we are here, part 4 of my 4-part series. Part 1 was about capacity before change. Part 2, why discipline feels hard before it feels free. Part 3, consistency beats intensity. And now we're here. Part 4, stop starting over, identity over effort. Boy, this is going to be a good one. Let's go. Goodness, oh my goodness. This is going to be sensational. Yes, it is. Fantastic. Stupendous. Absolutely wonderful. All right, have a seat. Let's get to part 4 and get this ball rolling. All right, let's talk about starting over, because starting over feels good. Get it? It feels clean. It feels hopeful. It feels like a reset button you can press whenever things don't go your way. You got Monday, I'll start over. I've heard that before. Next month, I'll reset. You're a liar, sir. All right, next year, I'm really going to lock in. You know nobody, but starting over feels productive. But here's the uncomfortable truth most people don't want to hear. Starting over often avoids the harder work. Staying. Effort feels heroic. Identity feels quiet. Effort depends on motivation. Identity depends on commitment. Effort says, I'll do this as long as I feel like it. Identity says, this is who I am, even when it's inconvenient. And that difference right there explains why so many people feel like they're stuck in the same cycle year after year. And I know they're not failing because they don't care. They're stuck because they keep rebuilding efforts instead of building identity. Efforts burn hot, but burn out. Identity burns steady. And here is where all the previous parts of this series come together. This is where we lock in, y'all. In part 1, we talked about capacity. Capacity is what allows you to tolerate discomfort without collapsing. Part 2, we talked about discipline. Discipline is what trains you to choose resolution over relief. Part 3, we talked about consistency. Consistency is what teaches you to return instead of quit. And now, part 4, we talk about identity. Because identity is what makes quitting feel less natural. Identity is what removes debate. When something becomes part of who you are, you don't negotiate with it every day. Do I feel like this? You ask yourself, what does someone like me do next? That question changes everything. Identity-based living is not about becoming someone else. It's about becoming stable enough to be yourself under pressure. Most people don't need a new plan. They need a new relationship with staying. Because here's what effort-based changes sounds like. I'll try, see how it goes. I'll do it until life gets busy, okay? Guess what? Life always gets busy. You already know that. Identity-based change sounds different. This is what I do. This is how I handle stress, and this is how I take care of myself. Not perfectly, not dramatically, but consistently. This is why starting over keeps people stuck. Starting over treats setbacks like failures. Identity treats setbacks like feedback. Starting over says, I messed up, so I need to reset. Identity says, something didn't work, I need to adjust. And that adjustment mindset is everything. Let me bring back a metaphor that we've already heard in this series. If you're in a hole, the worst thing you can do is keep digging. Put the shovel down. Starting over often looks like digging with a different shovel. New plan, new rules, new promises. But the hole stays the same. Identity work says, I'm done digging. Not, I'll never mess up again, but I won't punish myself for being human. And that's where real growth starts. Hey, come here. Yeah, a little closer. Let me speak directly to you again. Yeah, you. Some of you listening are tired, not just physically tired, but tired of restarting, tired of getting your hopes up, tired of feeling like this time will be different, tired of watching motivation just fade. And you may be thinking, maybe I just don't have what it takes. And that thought is a lie. What you don't need is more effort. You need more alignment. Identity isn't built in big moments. It's built in small, boring decisions repeated over time. Builds when you choose to stay in the conversation instead of avoiding it. It's built when you return after a slip up without shaming yourself. It's built when you adjust expectations instead of quitting. This is where faith, psychology, and growth meet again. When you pray, you don't pray for life to get easier. You pray for strength to carry what you've already called to carry. Identity grows when you stop asking life to change first, because it's not. Start asking who you're becoming through it. Let me say this clearly. You don't need a new year. You don't need a fresh start. You don't need another dramatic reset. You need a new relationship with staying. I've already said this earlier. Staying when motivation fades, staying when progress is slow, staying when perfection isn't possible. That's not settling. That's maturing. And maturity is what makes freedom sustainable. Freedom isn't just doing whatever you want, whenever you want. Freedom is having the internal structure to choose what matters, even when it's uncomfortable. And that structure comes from identity. Identity over effort. Effort gets you started, identity keeps you going. So as you move forward, I want you to hold on to this question. What would someone like me do next? Not someday, not when things calm down, not when motivation shows up. Next. If you ask yourself, that question will guide you better than willpower ever could. Stop starting over, start staying, because you don't need to become someone new. You need to stay long enough to become yourself. Man, I'm just giving out some more life lessons. Hey, see you on the next video.